I'm Dr. Holliday with IndyDirect Docs, and I've had several patients recently tell me that they're looking for ways to eat healthier at work. So whether you're working from home or you're back at the office, I've created 5 different recipes from 10 ingredients that can help you make a very quick, easy, and healthy meal. So today I'm really excited about what we're making, but let's talk about what our 10 ingredients are first. So we have canned tuna, canned coconut milk, canned crushed tomatoes, frozen chicken that has already been cooked and cubed, frozen butternut squash noodles, a frozen mixture of onions and bell pepper, frozen edamame and frozen broccoli, and then to give our dishes some flavors, I have shredded cheese and a cilantro lime ranch dressing. So what we're making today is a Thai-inspired coconut chicken soup. We are going to cook it in this Tupperware container because that's typically what you would have at your office. And let me get my ingredients together. So I have the chicken, of course, the coconut, of course, the crushed tomatoes, and then the butternut squash noodles, the mixture of the onions and the bell pepper, and the edamame. So I am going to cook the chicken first because it's going to take the longest to cook. I picked cubed chicken because the pieces are smaller than like the bigger strips would be, so they're going to cook up a little bit faster. I did buy this chicken where it was already frozen and cooked, but you could definitely cook up some chicken yourself. And then when you have, I'm going to do it for about 2 minutes to start off. You definitely could cook the chicken yourself, and when you're just like regularly making chicken at home, make a little bit extra, cube it up, put it in some bags and freeze it, and then you don't have to buy it, you have already made it, and it's really not that much extra work. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna cook up the chicken, then we'll take the chicken out, and then we'll warm up our vegetables, and then we'll warm up our soup, and then we'll put it all together. So what is in our soup today? Well, the butternut squash noodles I'm using to replace like the regular noodles that you would have. If you've never had vegetable noodles, I actually like them. It's a really fun way to get different vegetables into your diet, and they make all sorts of different vegetable noodles. People can have something at home called a spiralizer that they can use to make the noodles themselves, although they are now starting to sell them more and more already spiralized. Zucchini is the most common vegetable that I've seen spiralized into noodles. I chose not to do zucchini because when it's been frozen, it then becomes mushy, and butternut squash just holds up a little bit better, and it's gonna have a better texture in our soup today. Other vegetables other than zucchini and butternut squash, sweet potatoes, very common, regular potatoes, very common, beets, carrots, parsnips, can give you a lot of different variety. It's not going to taste exactly like noodles, but if you flavor it up, it is a different type of dish, and it just adds variety to your diet. So that's what we're going to use today. And then the reason that this is Thai inspired, and the reason that I wanted to do something Thai, is because I like Thai food a lot. It's very flavorful. It's not one of those one-note dishes. Because we're going to flavor it up, excuse me, I totally forgot, with this cilantro lime ranch. So the thing that I like about Thai food is that it is a little bit sweet, a little bit salty, a little bit sour, and normally a little bit spicy. Unfortunately, I don't have anything that's spicy today, which maybe you don't really like spicy food, so that won't be a problem for you. I almost chose, instead of the cilantro lime ranch dressing, to, excuse me, I forgot a paper plate, to do like a verde salsa, but I kind of liked some of the flavors that were in this ranch dressing a little bit better, especially with some of the other dishes that we did, so that's why I chose to go with that. But if you're avoiding dairy, that's definitely something that you could do instead. Okay, so now I am going to add in the peppers and onions and the butternut squash noodles. And I'm only gonna do them for about a minute. I'm gonna do them together because I'm going to suspect that when we do them that they're gonna be kind of watery. So I'm gonna separate out the water because you don't want your soup to be watery. And then the edamame is gonna cook up really yes, so today our dish is going to be a little bit sour because of the lime. It's going to be sweet because of the coconut milk. If you've never had coconut milk, it's a little bit sweet. The butternut squash is going to be sweet, and it's going to be a little bit salty because we're going to add just a pinch of salt that we have back here. Unfortunately, not spicy, but obviously if you're at home, you can throw a little bit of crushed red pepper or a little bit of jalapenos in there, and then it will be nice and balanced, and that's what I like about it. I think that when you're trying to eat healthy, it's really important to not just eat the same thing again and again. That's what a lot of people do when they get on a diet, is they have about 3 things that they know that they can eat, and they just eat them on repeat. And they don't add a lot of different spices in there, so they just end up getting bored. And so even though they might have a little bit more energy, or they might actually be losing weight, they're not actually enjoying what they're eating. And is it really healthy if you're not having any enjoyment in life? I don't really think so. So, all right, well, let's check these veggies out. And they could stand to be warmed up a little bit more, but when I put it all together, I'm gonna warm it all up together. So I'm going to blot them. And then, actually cooking on the fly, I've decided that I'm gonna add the edamame in there, cook that, and then we'll put it all together. So let's talk a little bit about the dressing after I put this in for about 30 seconds. If you have the right dressing, it's really nice because you can obviously use it in a lot of different things. Like today, I'm not making a salad, but I'm just using it to add a little bit of flavor. Certainly you can use it to marinate different meat that you're doing. But the thing about a lot of dressings is that if you look at the ingredients, they have sugar in them, and that's kind of their downfall. So that's what some low-fat dressings will do to make them taste good, is that they'll add sugar in them, and that's definitely not what you want. So when you're looking for a dressing, you want to read through the ingredient list, and you want to find one that does not have sugar in it. Tessemae is a brand that I personally use and I personally like, so that's why we're using it today. All right, great. So we are gonna add the chicken back with our veggie mixture. And I'm just checking the water content of our veggies. Look at how beautiful this is looking already. So pretty exciting. I love the color of the butternut squash, and then the edamame and the peppers are all different colors. So this is gonna be a really fun dish to eat today. So I added the chicken back, and then we're mixing it up again. I am going to do about 1/3 of this can, so about that much of it. Perfect. And then for this can, I'm only going to do about 1/4 of it. So then let's mix it up, see what that's like. Because we want it to be soupy, but you can kind of do whatever you want. Whenever I have a soup, I kind of like soups that are heartier. And I almost like the liquid to be like a background, not like the main thing that I'm eating. So for me, I kind of like a soup that's a little bit more like this thickness. And then we are going to do 2 spoonfuls of this dressing. You could obviously do a vinaigrette if you wanted. I just couldn't find a vinaigrette when I was at the grocery store shopping for this. If you're trying to avoid dairy. You also, if you don't like cilantro, because cilantro is kind of like a dividing spice, could do a basil. Basil goes very nice in Thai food, in Thai inspired food, because this is not Thai food. If you've never had Thai food, you definitely gotta try it. But this has vegetables, and it has meat, and it has a lot of different spices, and that's why I think that it's gonna turn out good. So let's cover this, and then we'll do it for another minute. If you're getting bored with things that you're eating at home, I definitely recommend that you just pick a different cuisine that you've never really tried before, like Thai, like Indian, and just look at different recipes to try to get ideas about spices that maybe you've never used before that you might like to try to incorporate. I think that you'll be surprised about the ingredients that are in some of these dishes, that there's some that are more familiar than we think that there are. It's just a really good way to widen your list of recipes that you have. So that way, again, you're not eating the same thing over and over again, because that is not very fun. Let's see, we have about 12 seconds left. We have a complete meal, we have protein, we have different vegetables, and it should be pretty filling. The nice thing about using the butternut squash noodles as opposed to just regular noodles is that because they're a vegetable, we can eat a larger volume of them and not feel bad about it. Because regular noodles, when you eat like a whole bowl full, like ramen, you feel kind of heavy, and that just really is a lot of carbs. So we're gonna give it a stir, and I'm going to try. We'll get a piece of coconut and a little bit, not a piece of coconut, a piece of chicken and a little bit of the veggies in there. I would like it spicy. Dr. Moore would not like it spicy. This is what we're going with.